Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I'm here in Ponytown in this wacky, strange looking home, and that is because I have many more things for you to do in Ponytown, and these are those things. Now it looks chaotic and it looks wacky, but there are several games here for you to play and several things for you to do here, and I do hope that you enjoyed all of that. Ponytown just has so many options, so many, chances to just do whatever you want, and I think that this video will hopefully inspire you to come up with your own games, as well as inspire you to play some of these games mentioned in this video. Now, with all that little fluff out of the way, I do want to go ahead and start with this game over here on the right that I've been messing around with. This is known as Barrel Dip. This is a game that I created. Essentially, you're just going to line up some barrels. Now, you can line them up very close to the edge of the water, or you can put them in the very center, and that's something about this game that I really enjoy, is that based on where you place your barrels before you start, you can change the difficulty of the game. So for example, I have some in the middle, that's a little bit easier, but these on the edge are a little bit more difficult to go through. And essentially, once you have these barrels lined up, make sure they're on land, by the way, because if you will obviously just swim through it if it's in the water. And then make sure there's water on both sides of it, enough water to where if you step in it, you will actually, start swimming and everything like that. And then you're going to start on either end. I'm going to start on this end because why not? And you're going to go around each barrel from the right side, then from the left side, and then from that side again, and then that side, and then that side. And you're just going to do this. And essentially, the idea of this game is you're going to race your opponents through this, and if you touch the water, then you have to start all over. See, I touched the water right there, so I have to start all over. So let me go back up here and then go through it again. This I stepped on the water again. This is a very challenging game in some cases. If you're too quick, or if you kind of lag a little bit, it will be very challenging for you because you'll accidentally step in the water, obviously. See, like I just did there. But essentially, that's the full game for Barrel Dip. Essentially, whoever beats the other person to the other side and goes through all of them and then comes back is the winner. There's nothing else to say about that one other than, when you touch the water, you have to start over. And, of course, it's a race, so be the first one to complete it. So next up on this list is 50 plus. I don't know who created this game, and I don't really have anything in this party house exactly to show it, but the 50 plus, essentially how it works is you will get a group of friends or whatever, you'll hang out somewhere. You can even do this on the main island, you can do this anywhere you want, you don't have to set up anything. All you have to do is create a copy of your character that is known as 50 plus whatever, and then you're essentially going to get your group of friends taking turns saying something along the lines of, hey, red shirt, and then everyone has to roll out of 100, so /roll, and then based on what you roll, see, I got 38. If it was over 50, then I would have to put on a red shirt on that 50 plus character, and essentially this just keeps going until, well, actually, I don't know how long it's supposed to go. I think it's just a matter of like, oh, we've done enough, let's quit now. I think that's a matter of like when it stops. But essentially, if you roll under 50, then you don't have to do that, and a customization thing. So I rolled 38 there. I don't have to put on a red shirt on my character, so I'm safe for this round. And then it just keeps going in a circle until everyone has a turn and everyone has their fun, and people mutually agree to end the game. And it's fun to see what kind of crazy, wacky characters you can end up with in 50 plus. Some people try to I just hit my wrist. Some people try to, create full characters with this, try to create like an OC with it, and it can be very difficult to do that, especially since everyone else is like basically telling you what to add and what not to add and stuff like that. You can also say things like, hey, remove the hair or whatever, and then if they roll over 50, then they have to remove the hair. So if I do /roll, I rolled under 25, I rolled under 50, so I don't have to do it, but if I rolled over 50, then I would have to remove the hair from this character. So essentially that's how it works and everything like that. I do have like a slight variant to this as well that I personally came up with. Essentially, the idea is that since you're rolling 50 instead of just out of 2, fun twist for this game to be is if you rolled 100 exactly, I got really close, but this twist essentially would be that if you rolled exactly 100, then everyone is safe, and then the person that made the dare, the person that made the suggestion, has to be the only one to make the suggestion. So for example, if I was the one that was it and had to decide or whatever, I would say, hey, remove the tail, and then I would, make everyone else roll their dice, whatever, like that. If any of them roll exactly 100, then all of them are safe, and only I would have to remove my tail. Everyone else would be safe. Now that's a variant of the rule of the game. You don't have to do that. You don't have to play with that or anything like that. But it is fun to kind of play around with the rules and everything like that. So another thing that you can do, another fun thing that you can do with this game is if you rolled exactly 1, then you could have it to where, like, if you rolled exactly 1 out of 100, then you would be the only one that has to do it. So for example, if I was it and I said, hey, change your cutie mark to a question mark or something like that, then everyone rolled and whatever, and then if someone rolled a 1, then they would have to be the only one to change their cutie mark to a question mark. Meanwhile, everyone else would be safe. So that's another variant that you can do with it. That's something that I love about 50 plus, is there's lots of like little miniature ways to play the game and everything like that. So number 3 on this list, and you probably saw it, is this mess of walls over here. Now it may not look like it, but this is my very poor attempt at creating a maze in this small area. Now to do this is you're basically just going to place some walls, some furniture, maybe some barrels, some trees, whatever you want, line them up in some random way or whatever, and trying to get some friends to try and beat the maze. Maybe make it a race and race through the maze. Whoever can figure out the maze first and get through it and everything like that will win. You can do it that way. You can have some kind of like RP based on your maze or whatever, but you can create mazes in Ponytown pretty easily because you have access to an entire house, and at some point soon we will have access to the entire island to customize. So I can imagine once we get that entire island to be able to customize and everything like that, mazes are going to be way more of a deal, like way bigger of a deal than they are right now. So number 3 is you can create mazes. So number 4, and this takes me up here through this little entrance here. I don't know if you can tell, but this is my very poor attempt at putting a stage here inside this small area. Now the stage is here for a couple of reasons. The main reason is that like a stage, and that's kind of fun and everything like that. You can do RPs and stuff on that. But you can also do stuff like singing contests if you're in voice chat. So you can have like a singing contest and kind of role play it a little bit here. So maybe I want to just like sing whatever, sing birthmark, sing. Look at him, he's singing. Or in a more fun way to do this would be to create a comedy club. Now that's what these little seats and stuff are out here. These little chairs out here. I mean, these cushions, I guess, and the little tables. They're out there because that's part of like this weird setup that I'm doing here. But essentially, you can create sort of a comedy night club, and that would be a really fun thing to do if you had some friends, or if you just want to get some random people involved. You can go to the billboard row right outside the docks and basically advertise that you're doing a comedy club. You can come here, have your house set up for a comedy club. I use this torch right here. This torch will never come on. I use the torch on lit tool, or not the torch on lit tool, but the torch on lit furniture, and that's that way that light's always off, and it seems like it makes a little bit of a good mic in my opinion. Put the stool there, of course, as well, because every comedy club always has that stool on the stage for some reason. Almost none of them ever use it though, but that's besides the point. So you can create like comedy nights and everything like that, and it can be a lot of fun to, if you have a lot of jokes or whatever like that and you want to kind of test your jokes or whatever, you can do that in Ponytown. That's a very fun thing to do. If you have some good jokes, or if you know some people with good jokes, go ahead and host your own comedy night. That will be a lot of fun, and if you do anything like that, let me know, because I might want to join in on that. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. So number 5 here is the Who Am I game. Essentially how this works is you're going to get a handful of people, usually around 4 or more. I would recommend you doing something around 6 or 7 players, but you can do around 4. You can work around that. So essentially what you do is you get a handful of people, have them all spawn in with like their regular OC, the OC that they use the most. So for me it would be either Birthmark or Skella, and then you're going to line up in front of a guesser. You're going to assign a guesser, and basically you're going to, once the guesser is assigned, everyone's going to line up in front of the guesser. So that's what these pumpkins are here for. I would recommend doing something where like you show where the line is. Maybe you want to just use like the floor tiles to show, or maybe you want to use something like pumpkins or something else to show where the players should line up at. But essentially you're just going to line up in front of the guesser. So the guesser would be somewhere over here or whatever. So now that everyone is lined up essentially, and they have their regular OCs or whatever like that, they are the guesser is going to assign someone to be the real one, I guess you could call it. And what they're going to do is they're going to try and guess who that person is. Now it should be obvious, because because you're just your regular OCs. But the way that this works is all the players that are not a guesser is going to transform into a default character. So everyone is going to switch into a default character like this, and then you're all going to have the same exact name, the same exact OC. It can be any other OC you want, but using the default is the easiest way to do it. So you're going to have this in your like inventory, I guess you could call it, your inventory of ponies, and you can switch to it very easily. And then you're all going to kind of, you know, mix and match and everything like that. You swarm each other and stuff like that. It's really hard to explain because I'm here by myself. But essentially, imagine like there's 5 other defaults here, and we're all kind of in the same spot, and we're just kind of, you know, moving around and everything like that. And then everyone's going to find a new spot on the pumpkin or this lineup or whatever. They're all going to line up again, and then the guesser who is over here is going to try and guess who is the real one. Now, the real one is supposed to be assigned before you mix defaults and everything like that, so make sure you do that properly. Now, there are a couple ways to cheat at this game. I kind of don't want to say, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. If you click on the character, if you click on the pony, then it highlights their shadow even after they switch ponies. So do not click on any of the characters, because then no matter how mixed up you do it, it's going to be very obvious who it is. Another way to do this is to friend the person and then look at someone who's on your friends list, so you can hover over them and be like, oh, this one has green text over it, so that's my friend, so that's the one. So there's a couple ways to cheat at this, but I do hope that none of you use that to cheat. I tell you this because if someone is over here and they're guessing and they get it right like over and over and over and over again, you just keep in mind that it is possible to cheat at this game, and that's probably what they're doing. So number 6 is this little bed area over here. Number 6 is heads up 7-up, thumbs up 7-up, whatever it is. I don't know what you want to call it, but essentially you get a handful of people here, and this is like a real life game that is kind of in Ponytown, so it's going to be a little bit different. But essentially the game works like this: you get a handful of people, and then one person to be like the moderator, I guess you could call it. Everyone is going to choose a spot. They're going to sit down. They're going to pretend to be asleep or whatever. They're going to pretend to have their eyes closed. Doesn't matter. And then the person who is who is the moderator, the person that is the moderator, is going to whisper to one of the people sitting down, and they're going to whisper to that player and tell them, hey, do you want to who do you want to put the thumb down on? Who do you want to like pick out, essentially, is what it's going to be. They're going to whisper it to them, and then yeah, essentially that's how that works. It's basically like it's like a slightly different version of Mafia, essentially, is what it is. So once the person whispers to the moderator who they want to kill or whatever, then the moderator is going to go up to the person that was quote unquote killed or thumbs downed on, and they're going to boop them and tell them that they were chosen, and then they are going to have to guess who it was. If they guess incorrectly, then they're out and they lose, and then the game continues. You can the moderator can choose a new person to guess, or they can choose the same person to guess again, and it's just sort of like that. So with all of that out of the way, there's only one more game on here, number 7. Now, we did do this one already, so I don't want to go super in depth in this, but essentially what you have to do is you have to clear your whole house, clear your entire house, get a shovel, get someone to be the lava person, and the other person, you're going to put down some tiles, usually black tiles or black carpet or something like that. And essentially these are going to be obsidian pieces, and players are going to, they're somewhat safe from lava in this case, and essentially people will be on these different pits of obsidian, and then slowly the person that is the lava, I guess you could call it, I don't know what you should call it, but essentially they're going to come over here, they're going to do some rolls, they're going to do roll 20 or whatever, and then they're going to see, so 18, so we can do like 18 or something like that. I don't know if that's actually 18. Actually, that is 18, I think. So you just put down 18 lava tiles or whatever, and lava tiles will be the red carpet or whatever else. And so essentially you will slowly work your way around here. You don't start in the middle anywhere, you always start on the edges, and essentially players can move between the obsidian tiles at any point when they want. Like at any point they can move between them, but it's very risky because you never know when that lava is going to come in. So I hope these helped, and I hope that you found some use out of these games and everything like that. I hope I explained them well as well. I probably didn't explain them very well, if I'm being honest, but hopefully I did. And if I did, please let me know in the comments. And let me know if you play any of these games, and let me know if you're interested in any of these games, because it might be fun to play some of these games with you sometime. So anyway, that's going to do it for the video. Like I said, I hope this inspired inspires you to, make your own games in Ponytown. I hope it inspires you to maybe play one of these games in Ponytown or something like that, because Ponytown just has so many possibilities. There's so many games that you can play in this game just using the party house alone, but you can also just use the dice alone, and there's many things you can do with that as well. So like I said, I hope this inspired you and everything like that, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please like, subscribe, share, do those wonderful things, because when you do those wonderful things, you get access to wonderful content such as this. But that's not all you get. That's not all you get. You also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.